All right, so the Charlie Kirk murder happened yesterday, and I was feeling a lot of feels, um, feeling a lot of emotions. I had waves of emotions that would constantly wash over me, um, cause me to cry and to feel pain and sorrow and hatred and disgust and different waves of emotions. And I asked my wife to stay home from work today to be with me because I wasn't doing the greatest. I thought that going on a walk with my dog by myself was going to be helpful. It wasn't. Being by myself was not the right recipe. So I asked her to stay home, and she did. A therapist, an old friend that I haven't seen for 25 years, since I was 12. The last time I remember seeing him, he was singing Smash Mouth's All Star. But he was a friend of my mom's, and he reached out and he invited me to a therapy session, and I gladly accepted because I promised an officer last night as I went to the candlelight vigil out by the hospital and talked to this officer, and he made me promise him that I would talk to someone, that I would. And at first he was being a strong guy, the officer. He was being strong and saying that he just bottles it all up and he just deals with it. But then as I was about to leave, he said, you know what, I want to change my answer. I do go to a therapist, and I take medication occasionally to assist when traumatic things happen to me, and I want you to go talk to somebody. So I promised him I would, and that's what I did today. And I just wanted to quickly recount a little bit about that experience. Some of the tools I used before, but not realizing that they were therapy techniques. But some of them included, you know, separating all the negative emotions from you, taking them away and putting them in a box and dealing with them one by one later, but finding a place that is peaceful and finding a place that you can feel grounded and feel at peace and feel safe. My place was actually coincidentally similar to this area I'm in right now. It was, in the mountains and trees, pine trees, and it was safe. But the biggest realization that I came to during this hour-long event was that there was nothing I could have done, because I'd felt somewhat responsible that I didn't look for the shooter. On the way down, I had felt, and I'd told my friends, like, I bet there's going to be a shooting, because there were so many radicals, so many extreme views, so much hatred that's in the world right now, and especially in counter Mormon culture, meaning people that try to buck Mormon culture, and they have a lot of anger and hatred in their hearts a lot of times. That doesn't just mean people that have left the church, but there's a certain ilk, there's a certain string that is filled with hatred, and it's not everyone. It's a small subset, but there's a lot of it. And so I think that comes from not feeling validated, not feeling loved by their family, by their community, by their school, or whatever it might be. And so those are natural feelings when you have been told that your identity, say it's trans identity, is sacrosanct and is the most important thing. And so I'm going to go back to what my epiphany was before I get to that. But my epiphany was during this meditation. I was more or less, my mind was photoshopping and rewinding the event, and it photoshopped out the gunshot wound, and it photoshopped out Charlie falling backwards, and it photoshopped, and went back in time. And as I went back in time with this event, I flew up with the bullet and replaced the bullet into the gun with a flower. I believe it was like a daisy. And the gun got set back down on the ground, and the shooter rewound and walked back down the stairs, and he rewound to the bottom of the stairs, and then when it replayed, he walked up to the middle of the stairs and had a second thought and walked down and left the building and went to a car and shot himself. And the event went on. His mom and his sister and his dad mourned him, and a few friends mourned him, but most people didn't. Nobody else knew or cared. And that was the message that I got from the therapy today for myself. And this is all just happening in my mind's eye as I'm going through this process of therapy. It's not something that's being told to me to see. It's just what my mind was doing, and what I'm supposed to learn from this entire event is there's a lot of people out there in the world that are struggling, that don't feel heard and don't feel loved. And even though we will disagree on many things, those people need to feel loved if we're going to stop events like this from happening in the future. What does that feel like? What does that look like? I don't know. But what I do know is that the only source of love is God. And so for those individuals who feel that hatred, feel that loathing in their soul and in their being, the only solution for them to feel loved isn't being validated, isn't being told that they're correct, isn't being told they can do whatever they want to do. That's not the source of love. That isn't what love is. What love is truth. And truth comes from God. And so connecting with God and being in nature, feeling the waves crash across your face, hugging a tree, climbing a tree, whatever it may be, those are part of God. You can feel the wisdom, you can feel the truth as you are experiencing nature. God will be there with you. So get off of the device that you're watching me on right now. Go hug a loved one. Go hug a tree. Go be outside and enjoy life. Live life. Don't live in your mind. Live in your heart. Look for somebody that you can serve. Look for somebody that you can love. Look for somebody that is hurting. Give them a hug. Let them know that they are loved and that they are a son, a daughter, a child of God who loves them. And if they say to you, you can't prove to me that God exists, that's okay. That's not your obligation to force God onto them, but it is your obligation to love them. And that love comes from sharing the gospel, from sharing the New Testament, from sharing the Old Testament as well. In my world, it also comes through sharing the Book of Mormon. If you're Islam, I'm sure it comes from sharing the Quran. If you're Buddhist, Jewish, whatever you are, God is among all of those religions, and He's outside of those religions too. There's so much more truth than any one religion can hold. We each feel our religion is true because we grasp on to different tentacles, different pieces of truth that resonate with us, that we love, that tell us that God is real. And as we continue to search for those truths outside of our own religion and in the world, God will make it known to us. He will say, yes, this is true. Yes, this is peace. Yes, you are loved. And that's really what we're all here to do. That's their purpose, is to love. Our purpose isn't to make a bunch of money, to be on our screens, to fight wars, to kill Charlie Kirk. Those aren't our purpose. Our purpose is to alleviate suffering, to bear one another's burdens, to lift each other up, to love. So go out and love.